understood. Pros and cons. Pros. A kidney transplant or kidney and liver transplant can cure certain inherent types of hyperoxaluria, primary hyperoxaluria. Failure initiation of conservative treatment, including high fluid intake, inhibitors of calcium oxalate and crystallization, and also pyridoxine, is responsive case can help to main and reduce certain renal failure in complex subjects. Also, diagnosis is based on family history. Cons. Depending on the severity of hyperoxaluria, you may eventually lose kidney function. Kidney dialysis may help temporarily, but it doesn't keep up with amount of oxalate produced. The most frequent and severe disease of this pathology is type 1.
Hello everyone, Dr. Mungli here. Today I'm going to explain you on hyperoxaluria. In particularly, I will be explaining you primary hyperoxaluria. Hyperoxaluria basically it means excess levels of oxalates that are found in the urine, and this is generally because of consumption of dietary sources which are rich in oxalates. Generally, the green leafy vegetables are rich in oxalates, and also the green tea. Excess consumption of green tea is known to cause excess oxalate excretion in the urine, giving rise to hyperoxaluria. So in today's video, I am primarily explaining primary hyperoxaluria. Primary hyperoxaluria, it differs from just hyperoxaluria. So hyperoxaluria is generally
Issue applied in Ecuador. This study in Ecuador was created of 159 patients who attended in MCH laboratory, of which 43.40 had renal lithiasis. Of them, also 59.42 correspond to gender, and 33.33 are from two groups between 41 and 50, and also 61 and 80 years. The average age was only 48 to 60 years.
Deputy Director of the Division of Cardiology and Nephrology in the Center for Drug Evaluation and Research at the Food and Drug Administration. Dr. Thompson?
Hi, Kim, and thank you. And good morning to everyone, and I guess good afternoon and good evening as well, perhaps. As Kim mentioned, I work at the FDA in the Division of Cardiology and Nephrology, and I'm here today with many of my colleagues from FDA to listen and learn from you, about your experiences with primary hyperoxaluria. As Kim noted, this is a very exciting time for drug development for primary hyperoxaluria. Because of the important advances in science and because of your efforts and the efforts of the larger community, pharmaceutical companies are developing treatments for primary hyperoxaluria. And so today's meeting is critical. We, the FDA, and our partners in industry, the companies that are developing treatments for primary hyperoxaluria, need to hear from you. We need to learn from you. It goes without saying that patients, the people living with the disease, should be at the center of the drug development process. And yet, somehow, as we developed this whole enterprise, we seem to lose track of that. Fortunately, we as a larger community are working to address this issue. So what do I mean by patient-focused drug development? A key concept is that As experts in what it is like to live with your condition, patients are uniquely positioned to inform the understanding of the therapeutic context for drug development and evaluation. Next slide, please. So what are the overarching goals of this initiative? I show these goals on this slide and the next one. But at a very high level, there are two key components. One key component is listening to patients and learning from patients about what matters to them. The second key component is what I'll call the science part. It's one thing to say that we want to incorporate the patient voice in drug development, but a critical issue is how one actually does this systematically in a robust way. And that's really the science part. Unfortunately, we have a lot of very smart people in the agency and outside the agency who are giving careful thought to this issue. As Kim noted, during today's meeting, we will hear from you about how primary hyperoxaluria has impacted your lives. We will also hear from you your perspectives on current and future approaches to treatment. However, another important aspect of FDA's patient-focused drug development program focuses on the conduct of clinical trials and really encouraging the identification and uses of approaches that and best practices to really encourage patient enrollment in clinical trials and minimize the burden of patient participation in these clinical trials.
Conclusion. Living with primary hyperoxaluria presents many challenges to patients, governments, and their families. Although the programs and severity of primary hyperoxaluria is a variable, care of these childs or adults with primary hyperoxaluria is as unusual stain of the family due to the intense of figuring medical care and associated with finance hardship. Also, these patients with primary hyperoxaluria will prevent kidney fusions, treatments, and direct at reducing of all the lifestyle they have been. Thank you.